Hey, it's your boy Dre off the top here to once again beg you, ask you, plead with you to give us a rating on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you listen to Find Time. Please do that. Also, give us a review. It could just be a sentence. Hey guys, love the show. You know, stuff like that helps out a small show like ours a lot. So we would appreciate it if you could. We would love you for it. Let's start the show.
Step into video game land. Welcome to Find Time.
Hello, party people. It's your boy Dre. Hello, party peoples. It's... Man, I don't like this. Can I start over? Should I start over, Kevin?
I think you're kind of locked in at this point.
Steve, can I start over, please?
Okay, but only just the one time.
No, we've already talked. That can't go to waste.
We just started. We're not too far in. He could start over this just the one time.
See, now I don't know. Now that I have the power to start, now that I have permission, I don't know if I should.
This has been a great show so far.
You know what, Kevin? You're right. This has been an excellent show, these 45 seconds. Steve, I think we should keep it. I changed my mind.
Hey, permission to do something doesn't mean you should, right? Show's on.
Yep. All right. Fine. Oh, boy. Want to talk video games? I mean, that's always good.
That is what our show is. Allegedly.
Allegedly about video games. Should I go first again? I don't know.
Yeah, you should.
Should I? All right. Fine. You talked me into it.
We gotta simmer to what I'm doing. So, yeah, you go first.
Okay. I'll talk about a real video game that I actually like, but I'm going to kind of bitch about anyway. And that video game is Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance. So usually we get on here and we talk about what we are currently playing, but this time I actually want to talk about something I played last year in Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance, the updated version of Shin Megami Tensei 5 that came out on Switch in 2021, Steve, late 2021.
Never heard of it.
Thank you. We didn't do a whole post-game show on it or anything.
No. We didn't like it a ton, no.
Definitely not one of my top 5 favorite Switch games of all time. Not at all. But yeah, that's how I feel about the original SMT5 on Switch. And I don't want to cover all the same shit we already talked about, like the battle system and world building. And, we already did that. So I want to take a different perspective here. Because across the board, I think everyone is saying SMT5 Vengeance is a better version of the original. And I'm not sure I necessarily agree. I don't think it's a worse version of the original. I just think Vengeance has its own pros and cons. And that's the angle I want to talk about today. I want to go through those pros and cons. So obviously, the entire reason, besides the new story, the entire reason I was interested in SMT5 Vengeance is because it was coming to all systems this time, and not just Switch, which means it's going to improve, Steve, the one big thing we talked about in that post-game show, performance, because that game was not performing. It tried to be 30 frames a second. I think it very rarely got there. Steve, maybe indoors, maybe.
Oh, on occasion, sometimes.
Maybe once in a while, right? But on the whole, nah, it just wasn't happening. Especially cutscenes sometimes would just slideshow into the teens. It was embarrassing. And for me, a frame rate whore to still give that game an A+++ shows you how much I love that game, right? If I'm going to overlook something like that. So yeah, This game is on everything: PS4, PS5, PC, etc. Breaking news, everybody: the PS5 can run a Switch game at 60 frames a second. I'm glad to tell everyone this. So, when you first boot Vengeance, you have a choice. You can play the game as originally told on Switch, the original story, or you can play the new alternate story. And I think most people will tell you the new story is better. And this is one thing that I'm not so sure on, because a lot of people consider the story one of the, I guess, shittier points of the original Switch game is that, oh, it's not really that good, or like, you just kind of go here to there and that's it. But that's kind of what I like about Shin Megami Tensei 5 originally. It's not a cutscene heavy, character driven kind of game, Steve. It's an exploration and dungeon game. That's what we like these for.
I was going to say, the only other one I played so thoroughly was 4, and that was also more about dungeon explorer, find the demons, go to the next point. We're not really here for the story game. I know you didn't like that one as much, but I mean, I feel like that's what Shin Megami Tensei is. Me
too. But again, it's something people complained about, people who I don't really think are the target audience for these games. But, hey, what can I say? But I don't know. To me, it's like a dungeon crawler. If you wouldn't expect something like Etrian Odyssey to have like a great character-driven story, I would say that you shouldn't expect it from Shin Megami Tensei either. But, that's just my opinion. And, okay, Vengeance's new story does have some more characterization and stuff, and I'm not going to spoil, but it's like I said, pros and cons. There is some stuff that's handled better in this one and some stuff that's worse. Steve, I'll give you an example, of course, without spoiling. The school situation with the girl being bullied. That's all I can say. I feel like that plays out better in the original.
Oh.
I think so, in my opinion.
I see. I'll play it eventually.
Okay, that's all I'm going to say. And obviously I'm not going to tell you what, but you know what I'm talking about, so you'll see it when you get there. So here's the thing also. In the new story, you can have a couple of like permanent characters in your party, human characters, that you can use in place of the typical demons that you would normally gather up, which obviously you can still do. But if you don't really feel like doing that much, it's like, hey, here are some humans you can just have in the party as permanent people, and they'll just kind of level with you.
Not sure how I feel about that, I gotta say.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, you tell me. You've played the original. You love the original. You haven't played this yet. Me telling you that, what does that make you think of? How does that make you feel?
I don't know. It just makes me feel like they were ashamed of Shin Megami Tensei 5 in a way. If we're gonna just make it like another RPG where we're just handing you other bozos to hang out with. I mean, okay, again, going back to 4 and 4 Apocalypse, they give you, like, occasional, I'll call them the token humans. They sometimes, like, slap them in the background when the story called for it. They acted on their own, and they did whatever. And then they left, they fucked off when it was time for them to fuck off.
Mm-hmm.
Like, here, what you're telling me, it sounds like that Atlas is ashamed of the Shin Megami Tensei 5 game, and they thought you might be too. So, again, here's some assholes for you to hang out with if you want that. I don't like that on a you telling me that level anyway.
Okay. And that's kind of how I feel. And look, I guess you could just like not use them, I guess, but like, I don't know, man. I feel like if they're there, and here's the problem too, and this might be sort of a lessening difficulty thing, they're busted as fuck. Especially this one girl. They're so busted. She has like, her ice powers are insane. Like it's crazy. It's way beyond any demon you could pick up at those times in the games. So it's like, okay. It's okay. Again, it's still Shin Megami Tensei. It's not an automatic win button. You still have to play the game. But man, does she have some powerful shit. So it's like, what am I going to do? Just like not engage with the games just so I can make it harder I never like that kind of like choose your own difficulty where it's like, I can't do something to make it a challenge. I don't like that. So I didn't do that. Also, I've already played the game, so I'm not here for a challenge. I just kind of want to see the new shit. So I've been using them, but
I know, but it's like,
yeah. I'm glad you agree with me on that. So here's the thing that I actually think is not good about this game, and it's the only thing that I think I can say, okay, this markedly actually is worse than the original story. So Shin Megami Tensei is pretty good about presenting the world to you as it is. You know what I mean? You explore, you meet people, you meet good people, you meet bad people, morally ambiguous people, and then you get to make choices based on how you feel about them. And SMT5 Vengeance still lets you do that, but it feels a lot less special because of the additional characters that tag along with you, because they always have some shit to say about it. You know, one person might be like, oh no, how could the angels do this? I thought they were good. And then the other person's like, well, not all angels are good and not all demons are bad. Tisk tisk, right? And it's like, I don't need this explained to me, right? Like, I don't need that from my NPC overpowered companions. I can just experience a game and I can feel how I feel. I don't need to be like told that every second. You know what I mean?
Is that like in a way that they think like the player is too stupid to understand what's going on? Does it come off like that?
That's kind of what it feels like, Steve. Yeah.
Okay, I think we found the second thing I'm not liking at face value that you're telling me here. Because another thing I've been enjoying in my brief jumps into these games is, you know, you make the responses and then you kind of got to let these things lie for a while. And then eventually it all comes to a boiling point later on when we finally hit the stride. And then it's like, well, if it isn't the consequences of my own actions. Mm-hmm. And then we got to deal with the rest of the game. I mean, like, that shit's great. But here, if everyone's going to be like, oh no, why'd you say that? Make that choice for? Oh, how terrible.
They're not that judgmental about it, but they do definitely want to like talk it through every time. And I'm like, no, I don't need to talk about this. I really don't. Steve, here is one thing you will like, because this is something we went back and forth on our post-game show, and it's about saving, or rather the use of save points and the way they're scattered around the landscape. And I said, I like that it's that way, that you can't save anywhere you want, because the traversal is the point. I'm trying my best to get to this new place. Oh shit, I'm out of resources. I should retreat. Or, oh man, I'm going to go for it. If I die, I die. You can make those kind of choices. All that's gone because SMT5 Vengeance does the thing that you wanted. You can save anywhere you want. So,
I mean, I would have settled for an interrupt save, but okay, let's overcorrect.
Oh, okay. So you actually aren't with this. I thought you'd be like, "Fuck yeah, buddy."
I mean, I get why 4 did it because it was on 3DS, and I get why 5 didn't do it. But it's like, come on, Switch is a portable console. You could have threw us a little bone here. Okay. I don't know. It was very jarring. I don't know.
Yeah, so look, it doesn't ruin the game as I suppose that it might in our post-game show. Okay, I'm not gonna sit here and say, you know, this is trash now because you can save anywhere. However, it does take something away. It does. I can't deny that it does. So again, I say it all the time. Quote unquote accessibility or quality of life is not always in service of the game. But, you know, hey, that's something we talk about a lot here. So I won't do it again this time. I promise. I need to correct one of my sins from that post game show. I did not talk about the music at all. I completely forgot. And I'm not going to go on too long here, but like all I can really say is that it's fucking excellent. It's incredible. It's one of the best Megaten soundtracks of all time. Vengeance adds a number of new tracks, Steve, that are just as good as the originals, if not better. It's excellent stuff. Excellent stuff.
Do we get to listen to it, or do our new companions just talk over it the whole time?
Oh no, they don't talk over. There's so many. You thought this game had too many battle themes before? They added even more. These crazy motherfuckers.
That's okay. We can always use another battle theme. I haven't heard one from you.
There's more than one new one, trust me, and they're great. If you have never played SMT5, definitely pick up this Vengeance version. Absolutely get it. It is still an A+ game. I just am one of those people who thought the original was like perfect. So any of these changes feel not necessary to me or even somewhat detrimental, but that doesn't change how I feel about the game. It is still one of the best RPGs you can play I was going to say this generation, but now I guess we're in the next. Crossing some generations here with SMT5, and I'm glad now that it's on every system, it's getting more recognition, and the sales have bore that out. So, yeah, SMT5 Vengeance, absolute 2 thumbs up from me, even though I have a few quibbles.
So if you buy this, which of those 2 versions do you play on this version?
You can pick one. You can pick which one.
But which do you recommend, I guess, is what I'm...
Oh, man, that's tough. See, here's the thing. I genuinely think there's value in playing both, but this is a long ass game. So I don't want to sit here and say, hey, you need to play this game for 160 hours to, you know?
New Game Plus has been generous in Shin Megami Tensei land.
Has it?
In my experience with 4 anyway. But, and I meant to play 5 again, but then they announced Vengeance, so.
Yeah, I was kind of on the same train as you. I was like, oh wait, now we're playing this one.
They let you carry a lot of shit back, and I like usually a second playthrough isn't as harrowing if you wanted to find other endings.
Look, I was just going to play the game regardless. The news story is kind of frosting on the cake to me. I just wanted to play the game at a frame rate that wasn't trash. So, like, I was going to get this version no matter what, even if it didn't have any new stuff.
Fine time.
Guys, it's no secret that 2025 kind of sucks so far, you know, in terms of game news and, you know, in general.
Mm-hmm.
The other week, someone said it was illegal to boycott Tesla. Like, what? I'm feeling my brain dying a little more every day, you know? So I'm figuring if I'm going to keep playing current video games on this show, I should at least play something educational. In Carmen Sandiego 2025.
Is that the name of the game? Carmen Sandiego 2025?
No, it's just called Carmen Sandiego.
Oh.
You know how most of these games like ask a question about where she is or what she's doing? This one just says Carmen Sandiego.
Oh, so we're not even doing where in the world is.
Oh, yeah. So why don't we get into that? Because I know Kevin's Canadian and might not entirely be sure because he was a little... He either checked himself out or was like, nope, I'm out of here when I was talking about it in the group chat.
Well, maybe in 2025 in Canada Carmen Sandiego is considered to be in America.
Yeah.
maybe she's in the fucking Gulf of America. I don't know.
Yeah.
Look, I know some people are a bit younger than us, so let's answer what was Carmen Sandiego, because there's only flickers now in cartoons and one-off games that no one's heard of. Like, did you know there was a GameCube game?
No.
Oh, I did not either.
I didn't until I was like looking into this recently, but you know, in the 80s and 90s, Carmen Sandiego was a series of edutainment games where you needed to help out the police squad Acme track down the titular Carmen Sandiego and her vile thugs who were very adept at stealing landmarks. You know how Shredder steals the Statue of Liberty? That's amateur hour. Carmen Sandiego and Vile would steal the entire Empire State Building and leave you a small scrap of paper and the included almanac to figure out where the hell it all went. And, you know, as dumb as that sounds, it was a juggernaut here in the U.S. when Broderbund put it out. You know, where in the world and where in the USA and everything else. Yeah, Prince of Persia, right on Bungling Bay, neat stuff. But did those have a game show on PBS featuring beloved character actress Lynn Thigpen as the Chief? No.
That's how I know Carmen Sandiego was that TV show, really. Before I even played any of those games. I watched that show on PBS like every day.
Yeah, I think a lot of us did down here, and I mean, she kept playing that role when they moved the game to CD-ROM, but again, after that, it kind of wandered off into the wilderness, like all the other Broderbund stuff after Kevin's neighbor, Mr. Wonderful, Kevin O'Leary, bought them out, and I really don't want to go down that road right now, because it makes me upset.
Hey, sorry. I didn't mean to bring up something that you brought up yourself to make you upset.
Look, look, Kevin has even evil billionaires. Canada has evil millionaires too, is all I'm saying.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
So what is Carmen Sandiego 2025 doing then? It's supposed to be a game celebrating the 40th anniversary of the original Where in the World, released for computers at the time. I'm playing it included on my Netflix subscription because, that's what I do sometimes now on my tablet. But it's available on all major platforms for $30 with a deluxe version for $60. And yeah, I'm looking through this on the Switch to shop to see what the hell is in the deluxe version. And other than art, I can't tell you what's making this deluxe.
There's no way they're making
a great start.
Hold on. There's no way they're making you pay $30 for like some art. There's just no way.
Oh.
But is anybody without a Netflix subscription playing this at all?
I sincerely hope not, because look, let's talk about how the original worked, because I think it had a very satisfying gameplay loop. We'll go back to my Empire State Building example, just for the sake of explanation. We found a scrap of paper. It had some numbers with a pound sign on it. Okay, we could deduce that the crook went to Europe. Then we asked someone nearby. They give me a weird clue about a wig. Talking about wooden shoes. Okay, we're going to Holland, so there we go. we go there. We see some more shady shit done by vile thugs, which means we're on the right track. We get more clues. We repeat the cycle. Check profiles against the database and get a warrant because Acme believes in due process, unlike the real cops. And eventually we arrest that person. Good job. Now keep doing that until we actually find Carmen Sandiego. Except,
wait a second. So you are not the titular Carmen Sandiego?
In the original games, no. But here in 2025, you are the titular Carmen Sandiego.
All right.
And she's quit being a part of her own criminal organization, apparently, because she's helping a lady that's clearly a stand-in for Thigpen's Cheap. Rest in peace. She's been gone forever now.
Oh, yeah, over 20 years, huh?
Yeah. To catch criminals who are clearly trying to be vile, but without the skill or ambition. Like, Carmen Sandiego stole monuments and American artifacts and things. Here, we're stealing Mexico's Wi-Fi and Spain's supercomputer, but also the real Acme is also still trying to catch Carmen Sandiego, but not really.
Stop saying words. I
know.
Stop. I need to know stuff, okay?
Please.
Are you telling me that one of the cases involves someone stealing Mexico's Wi-Fi and you have to get the Wi-Fi back?
Yes.
How did they just put the Wi-Fi in a bag with like the Wi-Fi symbol on it instead of a money sign and they just ran away with the Wi-Fi?
They made up some more I think they like tried to spin it off as they knocked the satellite off course, but it's just as stupid. They might as well have put the Wi-Fi in a sack.
What in the world?
I wish they put the Wi-Fi in a sack. It would have been on. It would have been on brand with the original games.
Okay. Number 2, I need to read. I'm looking at Steam right now. I'm going to read you the contents of this $30 DLC. It includes 40th anniversary caper, Where in the World, cosmetic skin, classic Carmen outfit, cosmetic skin, motorcycle Carmen outfit, digital official soundtrack, digital official art book. The end. That's what you get for doubling your price of the game. You get one level and some skins.
Okay, well, those skins are included in the Netflix version because after playing for a bit, I did get the tan suit.
What? I almost said what in the world, but that would just be too on the nose for what we're talking about here. Jesus Christ. Okay, I'm sorry. So what happened in Spain now? Spain had a satellite mishap?
They have a supercomputer. It's a real thing. I forgot the name of it, but apparently they stole the whole thing. That they might have stuffed it into an entire sack, but they don't show you. I wish they did. They did, because I think they spent too much time trying to make this a real video game on top of being a half-assed reimagining of the original game. because you go visit locations and Carmen needs to do things like use her grappling hook in QTEs or fly a hang glider in half-ass sequences or sneak up on people to pickpocket them in a grab-ass minigame, among other things. And none of these are bad. Like, they all function, but none of them are fun. But you get experience points.
What?
And why is there experience points in Carmen Sandiego?
What do they do? Do you level? Okay, so you level up Carmen Sandiego. Then what happens? She gets +5 detective, like magnifying glass or something, or like what? What happens?
No, the experience points are for you because you thought you were going to just solve or not solve cases by accident and then move on like a normal video game. No, because in addition to the main story, which is called A Campaign Most Vile, you get it because it's a campaign. The game forces you to play the side cases, including Where in the World, which you found is apparently DLC. But there's like other ones too that make numbers go up. But it doesn't matter because it's all a shallow husk of what we all used to know and love. You go to locations and solve crimes. Except they couldn't get that right either, because whether it's the campaign or these little side shits, all these things just feel, it's pointless. The facts, such as they are, they feel stapled on. In the original, they gave you a whole ass book for reference. Here, I'm getting clues that say, they went to a country with stars on the flag. They give you 3 choices. I already feel like that's infantilizing today. Like, come on, like, give me the whole world to look at.
The whole point of these games before was to make kids look at something like an encyclopedia or something like that, to like look up stuff and find information and use it in the game.
So it's not bad enough that I have these only 3 choices, but I'm getting very low res images of the flags that I can't see the finer details are that. Oh, I can't tell whether you actually have stars on your flag or not. On a game series that's supposed to help teach me things, all I'm learning is why all this shit died out. The CD-ROM version didn't have all max, but they certainly leveraged the shit out of real photos to, have and things to look at. They included that shit, in the game. I don't know. I think this game's reaching too much to do too many different things. Last year, me and Andre applauded Emio, the Smiling Man, for being the best damn Famicom Detective Club game it could be in the 2020s, and a lot of that had to do with remembering what that meant. Carmen Sandiego is the exact opposite of that. It's trying to be everything, and it's just nothing.
You've okay. First of all, I understand your anger. Let's chill down. Let's take a chill pill. Do we still say that? Chill pill? Is that a thing?
I think we can because we're old.
Okay. Take a Dr. Mario chill pill. And number 2, I actually don't understand is this still like a point and click game? Because you're talking about hang gliding and pickpocketing and stuff. Like,
sometimes it's that, and then sometimes it's the half-ass point and click thing where you're literally point and clicking. Well, not really, because she's like walking around, and sometimes we look at a landmark and it's like, oh, here's a statue. This never comes up again. And then
So is it like Miles Edgeworth or something? Or is it
no, well, sort of, no, kind of. It's bullshit is what it is.
Well, have we confirmed this is indeed a video game?
Is it a video game?
It runs on my tablet, so it's technically a video game.
I don't know.
So we'll ask one more hypothetical question. Is there any reason to bother with Carmen Sandiego? I mean, if you're listening to me, no. But in long, it gets even sadder. I got enough experience points that I got her tan coat from the original release of the DOS version or whatever she had that in before it became red. Like, someone knew that this probably should have been something. And guys, this something isn't even done yet. I'm on what's supposed to be the last chapter of the campaign, and it says, coming soon.
Oh, boy.
As of recording time, no one knows where the hell this is. I've been checking this every night just to make sure I'm...
Only for the Netflix? There's no way that they charge people $60 for the deluxe version on Switch and they get told the end is coming soon, is there?
As far as I can tell, no one knows when this is coming.
Oh, boy.
I mean, I think it was supposed to come out the other week, but that is obviously not the case.
That's insane.
So
imagine we got to map 4 of Avowed and it said coming soon. Like, what in the world is going on? Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego, bitches?
we all got telltaled here, and no one was told this anywhere. Like when you buy a Telltale, well, back when they still existed, like we knew that we'd be getting episodes drip fed, but here it's like no one said anything about this. Here you're buying a video game and it's not done yet. I was very tempted to put the coming soon screen on my game's done thread because, hey, look at what you assholes are doing, but somebody needs to be the adult around here, so I'm going to keep doing a stakeout every few days until it is out, but don't fucking bother, especially when the original games are very, very well archived. Even there's even a bunch of good versions. Well, not good, but there's files of where in North Dakota is Carmen Sandiego. If you're that sick of a puppy,
that
you
is
want to play
not
that.
a real game. That is not a fucking
It
real
is.
game. No way in the world.
It is.
No, Steve.
I didn't make it.
Also, how do you know this much about Carmen Sandiego? I didn't know you were like a Carmen Sandiego super freak.
Okay, we had it on the school computer, and I borrowed it from the library a bunch. And well, I didn't play North Dakota, but I was looking through the versions that were available to archive. And where in North Dakota is Carmen Sandiego is a real game that they made.
Bro,
I need to get back to this release thing for a second. So none of the first sections of the game, those weren't drip fed, right? This all came out as one experience, and only the very end said coming soon. This wasn't like periodically released and you played it later in the schedule.
It's only been out for a month. I couldn't imagine what you'd really be drip feeding.
Oh man, this is fucking crazy. If this was a video game anybody cared about, this would be a big deal.
Where in North Dakota is Carmen Sandiego is a 1989 educational video game. It is the 4th game in the Carmen Sandiego video game series after World in 85, USA in 86, and Europe in 88. I think our school had Europe. I think that's the one we had back in the day. Anyway, yo, man. What?
North Dakota was the sequel to all of Europe?
Yeah, now we're just going to North Dakota.
I am sure someone at Broderbund lives in North Dakota, and that's how that happened.
I don't see how else that would happen.
I've read about this on other series. There was like the Yukon Trail in Canada, which is similar to the Oregon Trail, and there was also I'm trying to remember there was cross country USA, and then there was a cross country Canada, and there was all these other things.
Mm-hmm.
And I've read before about like specific governments funding these edutainment companies to make versions of these games, and I almost guarantee that's what happened. I bet you some North Dakota education board said, we'll give you guys a $20,000 grant to retrofit this game for our stupid ass kids in North Dakota.
That's exactly what happened, because if you look on Wiki here and you look at developers, it says Broderbund co-developed with North Dakota Database Committee, whoever the fuck that is. So that is exactly what happened.
I am sure that's a much better game than this.
Also, you could have alleviated this entire thing up front. Maybe you did, and I forgot, caught up in your whirlwind, and I didn't hear it. This thing was developed by Gameloft.
Oh, yeah. I knew I was in for some shit, but I'm like, well, I do a podcast with my friends every other week, so...
Pine time. One time, yo. One.
All right. Kevin, I want to ask you one random question out of the blue
Is this something about my legs?
No, it's not about your legs. I want to ask you, how much do you like playing volleyball in the Nintendo Switch game ARMS from 2017?
Oh, I didn't want to start with the volleyball, but if you're forcing my hand, it's not that good. It's not. It's like it's in the lower half of the like bonus games. And I really think that you guys, before I played ARMS, both these guys like, oh, make sure you try volleyball. Make sure you try volleyball. It's pretty fucking janky. Like the problem is when it gets like to the top of the net, if the other person hits it, like there's no reaction time if it's coming at you. It does like a straight downwards trajectory and explodes like right in your court. I don't know. It's not well balanced. It's not well thought out. What is the fucking appeal to arms volleyball? Please enlighten me.
Steve, if I can't, I mean, I don't know what else to say to this guy.
I don't know. Kevin's been fairly on arms every time he comes in the chat about it, and I don't understand why.
Well, maybe you can tell us why. I'm sorry. I wanted you to talk about volleyball first. I didn't want to wait the whole segment. I needed to know. I wanted to berate you in front of the audience right away. Go ahead. Talk about playing Arms of the Year of Our Lord 2025.
I never had anything against Arms. I've always thought like I like the aesthetic of it and the tone of it, and I never had anything against it in concept. I just kind of always assumed ever since the Switch presentation, this kind of looks like a one-trick pony thing. And I wasn't necessarily skeptical about it not actually working in practice. And it does work. When you punch with the Joy-Con, the punch goes forward. And if you tilt the Joy-Con side to side, you move. And if you punch and then you kind of like divert your arm, the punch curves. So it does what they said it would do. I just don't think the concept was that good to begin with. And I was right. I wish I could talk about this for like 15 minutes, but there's not very much to say about
Andre likes to yell at me for saying this, and I'll let him yell at me for saying this again. You could play with the regular controller. No one will yell at you for playing with the regular controller.
Yeah, but what is it, like that 100% negates any like point to playing Arms to me.
Me too. Also, it controls better with the Joy-Con. It just does. It's better than the Pro Controller.
I don't know. When I was doing when they had the events back when those were still on. Oh God, that was forever ago.
I know, right?
when they did the Arms weekends or whatever those were with characters and everything else. Like, okay, I can only throw my real arm so many times. Okay, I need to play with a controller now.
Well, you should be like that very handsome, very chiseled man in the presentational video. Yeah, because he wasn't getting tired at all.
You know what? My arms did get sore. Like my son and I would play for like, after like 20 minutes, I'd be like, okay, my arms are getting a little bit sore. But I never stooped so low as to use a controller, Steven. That seems completely invalid.
I'll ask you about the other one. Did you like basketball at least?
Basketball was the best of the mini games. Basketball, and then the target one, where the targets are like moving between.
Target's fun. Yeah, target's a lot of fun.
Because if you're really going to come on here and say, you know what, literally dunking my opponent and the ball in the basket kind of sucked, Steve, I think I was going to have to book the next flight to Canada.
Yeah, I mean it was interesting, and it also just seemed like it was a mechanically sounder idea. The basketball, there's kind of like different ways to shoot the ball or dunk the ball or whatever. It was a lot less one-dimensional than volleyball.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't know. I did not spend like a ton of time playing this. I played with my son the whole time we played. We did all of the levels. We each tried out every character. We tried every mini game. And at that point I was like, okay, I have no more desire to experience Arms again in my life. For what it's worth, my son loved that game. He was like going on and on. They should have more games where you use the motion controls like this. I really hope Switch 2 has a sequel to Arms. He was all about it. He thought it was fucking awesome. He has a lot more energy than me too, to be fair. So, I guess that's got to validate it for something. But I'm not shitting on Arms.
I think that's what you're proving right now why they made the game. They made it like kids are going to love this type of shit. You know what I mean? Like, I think for us, we see it as kind of shallow. And I agree with a lot of your criticisms. I didn't play Arms that long either. I really enjoyed it, but it was also like, okay, I'm not going to like sit here and just play this for hours. I can't. It's kind of, I don't want to say one note, but maybe just feels a bit one dimensional at times. Once you kind of play it, you play it. Who's your favorite character though? That's what I want to know.
The really like, actually no, you know what, the robot with the dog. The robot with the dog was my favorite.
A lot of people like that. Mm-hmm. I was a mummy man. Master Mummy. Yeah
me too.
Maybe I think Twintellith is the name.
Twintellith's great.
She could like make the cut too.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh god, when they Twintel. Do you remember when they first showed Twintel? The internet went a little crazy.
Yeah, the internet had a very healthy reaction to Twintel.
I don't know. I'm not above signing up for that.
Hey, me either. I mean, I said she should have been in Smash, not what's her name? But hey, what do I know, right?
All
I'm really hearing
Switch,
is,
like. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, all I'm really hearing is we're not inviting Kevin to talk about Two Arms with us in the post-game show sometime next year.
No, I don't want to play Two Arms, Two Switch with you. Sorry. Yeah, once I found out you can rent Switch games from the library, which is where this and 1-2 Switch came from. These are like the perfect games to go back because I want to like experience them for the Switch mythology. But I do not want to spend money on these, and I'm glad, I guess, for both of them that I didn't actually spend money on them, I think.
I definitely don't regret my $60. I think I got $60 worth of fun out of it. And like I said, the online lobbies were a lot of fun. I like how you just get in there and they start matching you up and you start doing random things. I wish more games had a lobby system like that. I wish Smash Ultimate had something like that. I love that type of shit. But Smash Ultimate doesn't have, like, they would need to have stuff like break the targets again and stuff, which they don't have. So yeah, but no, I loved that aspect of it. It was considered that way. It's just the game was just kind of okay.
I have a question for you guys about ARMS because and I probably just didn't play enough to like really wrap my mind around this. But do you guys think the fighting itself is relatively well-rounded? Because kind of what I found, like if you do the double punch, you can do the grab, right? And if you get close enough and you get into a position where you can do the grab, it's not really defensible. You can't like cross your arms and block that. And so to me, I think, and for like both my son and I, it pretty quickly devolved into like, you know, kind of jab, try and get close in. And then the ultimate thing is just like smash both your arms together, try and do the grab. And that's what I think really, I wish that there was, that, you know, it had said, okay, this is the grab. There is a way to counter the grab. However, if you're countering the grab, you leave yourself open to jabs.
You should be able to tech the throw and you can't. I think that's the thing. Like you can see it coming and yeah, you can kind of like punch their arms out of the way, I guess, or you can just dodge it, but you're not always going to be ready for that, you know?
Yeah, and the dodging isn't quite nimble enough to avoid that. Like even if you see it coming, I didn't think.
Certainly not as Master Mummy.
Well, that's the risk you're running, right? If you see the throw coming and that's always going to be the two green arms coming at you, you can punch that. And if you're not ready for that, oh well, you're getting tossed.
It's too powerful to me. I think I agree with you, Kevin. It's too safe and you can't really punish it back. Like if they whiff the throw, their arms are just going to snap back and you're just shooting your fists at each other again. That's the thing. Like if you whiff a throw in any other fighting game, you can kind of, it's punishable or, you know, you're left open when you do it, right? Here it's like,
what's the incentive to not spam it?
Yeah, there's no incentive to not spam it. Like if you're, I don't know, the fact that you have to look for it that much is kind of crazy. Yeah, I didn't necessarily care for that aspect of the game either.
I think if there was going to be a sequel for ARMS, which I do not think there ever will be, but if there was, it needs to be mechanically better thought out. Yeah, that's it. ARMS was very army.
ARMS was very army, man. That quote should go on. Do you remember when Nintendo had, for like 3 days, they had like reviews you could leave on Nintendo.com, like under the games, like you could actually like leave reviews. And then they said, it's like, oh, we're not doing that anymore. And then they never explained why, and it never came back. That's what you should have done for ARMS. ARMS is very army. That's what you should have wrote. 2.4 hours played. Child, 107 hours played. ARMS is very army.
He took my Joy-Cons and played it in his room on his Switch Lite with the Joy-Cons paired to the Switch Lite. So that's got to be a good endorsement.
Oh yeah, that has to be. That's definitely I mean, that's who it was made for. That's the target audience. I think that's what it is, Kevin. This just wasn't made for us. This is literally made for children, which is fine. It just doesn't have the depth that we might like from any sort of one-on-one competitive fighting game, I guess. It's not really a fighting game traditionally, but you know what I mean.
You guys know what a fighting game aficionado I am, so
Absolutely.
I've got high expectations.
He's played Street Fighter 2, The World Warrior, for 15 minutes.
On Super Nintendo,
got
I bet.
beaten by my daughter when she was 4 multiple times.
Oh, that's right. I remember that, actually. I remember you telling us about that.
I was putting it in this forum publicly as like to write off as a joke. I didn't need you to throw me under the bus and be like, oh, I remember that actually happened.
Yeah, I was there. I was over she beat you. All right. I guess that's about it. We talked about all our games. We'll be back with some news, maybe.
It's driving time with Fine Time.
All right, we're back, and I kind of have an impromptu question here, just, I guess, before we get to any little news tidbits that we have. It is now 2 weeks as we record this. We are 2 weeks out from the Switch 2 Direct. How you guys feeling? Let's do a vibe check on this, because I'm feeling kind of... I don't know if nervous is the right word. I'm not expecting to be blown away. I think this is just going to be like, okay, we're not going to be blown away by the hardware, right? It's just Switch, but it's bigger and it has some new Joy-Cons, whatever, right? And it does a mouse thing. Cool, right? I don't need the gimmicks. I know people love Nintendo gimmicks. I don't need that. I'm just wondering what the software. We saw a glimpse of what I guess was a new Mario Kart in that teaser, but it sure just looked like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. We know it's not, but like, I don't know. Right? There's a reason why they haven't made a Mario Kart in 10 years. It's probably because it's like, well, what are we going to do? So I'm just kind of worried, like, if we just have, here's a new Mario Kart, here's Pikmin 5. Is that exciting? I don't know, man. I'm not expecting to be blown away by the software that they show us, and I hate that I feel that way. Anyone else feeling that way?
I'm very confident we're going to see Metroid Prime 4, and that's exciting. We know it's coming, but that's still really exciting.
That is exciting, but I mean, it's something we also have known about for...
As our resident Nintendo nerd among Nintendo nerds, hearing what Nintendo's going to put out for a Nintendo Switch 2 is going to be the exciting news for me. So in that way, I'm kind of feeling the opposite way. I'm if anything, I'm antsy for... Okay, we all know Metroid 4 is coming. I want to see the rest. Come on. just show me whatever else you got.
I think we're going to see some of the quirky ARMS 1-2 switch type things, you know, maybe a little bit more geared towards casuals, but those things are still really interesting to see.
They are interesting to see, and I definitely want to see those. I want to see what stupid game Nintendo puts together with the Joy-Con mouse or whatever. Like, I want to see that, right? Where you guide your Joy-Con mouse through some maze or something like that, real on like on a table or something like that. Like, I want to see that shit too, right? Steve's smiling at me right now. You know you'd play that shit. Don't front.
Maybe it'll be included in the software because that seems to be what we do now. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, you know,
Nintendo Land 2.
Yeah,
the Joy-Con 2 pack or whatever.
What are they going to call them? Like Switch 2 Joy-Con 2s actually doesn't sound bad. I know it's stupid, but so is Switch 2. So
I mean, they need to differentiate it somehow, but they can't sell Joy-Con and they can't call it Joy-Con Deluxe, right? So it's got to be Joy-Con 2, and it's got to be clear that it's only for Switch 2. Those fuckers aren't fitting into the Switch 1.
But it's just like, I don't know, we had DualShock 4 before we had DualSense, right? So, like, yeah, that just, you know, just keep up into the number, I guess. What are they going to do for PS6? Does that make it DualSense 2? I wonder if they just go back to DualShock 6.
I think technically it would be the DualShock 5 on the PlayStation 6.
Right. See, that's the thing we can't have the DualSense 2 on the PlayStation 6 either. It sounds weird. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm worried about the software, and maybe it's just because like we hadn't seen, again, I don't need like a Tears of the Kingdom every year or something like that. At the same time, like we haven't even heard a sniff of like what's been coming out. And the fact that this Zelda came out so late means that there's definitely not going to be one of those.
Do we think Breath of the Wild remastered is going to be a thing?
Yes, absolutely. Steve?
If not out the gate, like in a few months. Yeah, afterward, yeah.
I think it would be, again, Nintendo has a history of doing tech demo stuff that they don't actually release. You guys remember that Yoshi story thing for Game Boy Advance when they first showed GBA? They showed like a level. Yeah. Do you guys remember they showed like a prototype of Yoshi story running on it? Yeah.
I think it was in the dev kit too, but
yeah,
so people could figure that out. But
and it never became a real port or any game or anything, but it was definitely like, here's proof of concept. Maybe that's what the Breath of the Wild thing is, but it's also like the same thing of like Sony, like when they were first showing PS5 behind closed doors and they were showing Spider-Man, you know, when you could instantly, you know, fast travel anywhere and the world was, you know, running like this and it was at 4K and we were just like, what the fuck? Right. But then they actually released that version of the game. I feel like the same thing's going to happen for Breath of the Wild for sure. There's no reason why not.
Do you know what I am? And I'm not just saying this facetiously and hold me back so I don't turn this into a rant of American hatred. But I am genuinely really curious to see how pricing in Canada is going to stack up against American pricing, because there's a lot of question about, you know, I don't know if product can be technically sold directly from Nintendo of Japan to Nintendo of Canada. There is a Nintendo of Canada, but traditionally MSRP is always directly tied to what the North American price is based on exchange rate. And obviously the whole tariff discussion comes into effect at that point.
Yeah, I remember over a year ago, guys, I was saying when they first had that, when was that Gamescom thing? When they first had that Breath of the Wild thing behind closed doors, was that 2023? I said right then and there, this system's going to be $400 at least, base starting. And you guys are like, I don't know. I'm like, nah, it's $400. Now with these tariffs in place, that doesn't, obviously that's not far-fetched anymore. But I guess what I'm trying to say is even before that, I thought it was going to be 400. Now, oh boy, Steve, you looking to shell out 450 for a Switch 2? I mean,
I would. My it's not a secret that my launch day Switch is actually holding up pretty well to this point, despite how well loved it is, but the battery life sucks now, and I'd sooner upgrade to a new system than get an OLED, I gotta say.
Same. It's kind of like for me, the Vita situation, where it's like I bought pretty much all my PSP games digitally, and like almost all of them carried over. So it's like, okay, even if Vita sucks, I have a deluxe ass PSP to play these games on still, because my PSP had broken. So I was like, okay, at least I have that. My Switch. I can't even I've been wanting to beat Etrian Odyssey 2 for months, and I can't, because I cannot take that thing off the dock. And if I'm playing games on the TV, it's not going to be that. It's going to be Dynasty Warriors Origins or some other shit, right? So like, I'm in a holding pattern with that game because I have no battery life on that thing. Kevin has an OLED though, so maybe you're obviously not hurting in this regard.
Yeah. I mean, battery life is fine, but I think I'm still very excited. I think 450 US is out of the question though. I don't think I just can't. I think they start like making cuts to features before they start looking at 450 US.
Will this be the first time because of this? Will this be the first time that Nintendo will actually sell their hardware at flat or a loss by going 400, which I don't think they will. But that will eat into their profits. I don't think they're going to take it out on us because they're smarter than that. I hope, but I just can't see them going, here's 500 for a Switch 2. That's just a terrible value proposition.
Mm-hmm. What do you guys think the MSRP will be?
$399.99 US.
400 sounds safe. I mean, I would love 350, but it's going to be 400.
I don't see 350, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm with you guys.
Did you guys think that Switch would be 300 in 2017? Because I did. That's exactly what I thought it would be.
Yeah, that would have been about the right spot based on what I saw at the time.
I can't remember that far back, to be honest. I don't know what I thought.
Because like some people, Steve, I'm sure you remember the chatter. Some people are saying 250, and I'm like, there's no way it's going to be less than Wii U. They're not going to do that. It's going to be $300. And sure enough,
I remember people complaining about the accessory prices, but we resolved that over time too.
Yeah,
just by having everything else become expensive too. But
but also like Joy-Cons are a lot of tech. It's not like a cheap piece of machinery, you know, there's a lot in there. So I get why it's expensive. And there's two of them. Like, I understand. I know it's a lot, but like, I never sat there and be like, okay, that's like not worth it. It has to be worth it. It's what the system is. So
I have a question. PS5 brought back the idea of a pack-in game. Is there any chance that we get a pack-in game with Switch 2?
Unless it's what Steve said, like pack in a weird little mouse game, I don't necessarily see it.
Clubhouse Games Mouse Edition.
Oh, what can you do with Clubhouse Games with a mouse now? That'd be fun.
Well, you make solitaire, obviously. That's already in the real one, but you know, there's things.
Oh, that's a question. I wonder if they could update Switch 1 games to use a mouse. Or if I could play backgammon and just like click on stuff.
The original Switch already quietly had mouse support a while ago, so I think the answer is yes.
Yeah, but that's like a real mouse. We're talking about a Nintendo, because these kids nowadays are going to think Nintendo invented the mouse, because Nintendo invents everything, right?
You mean they didn't?
Oh, okay. Do you remember back in the N64 days, when Miyamoto was talking about the analog stick on the N64? He was saying it's so accurate, you won't even need a mouse. You remember that? That was like not the tagline, but it's something he said for sure. And it's like, dog, I don't really think it worked that. Now, it was accurate. Obviously, it was a level of accuracy we hadn't felt on a home console before. Nintendo invented the analog stick, by the way. They invented analog control, don't you know? But yeah, like it definitely wasn't a mouse, Steve.
No. And didn't the N64 get a mouse? Anyway?
Did 64DD get a mouse? That would be the only reason. That'd be the only thing I could.
Yeah, I think that would have been it, right? For Mario Artist.
Yeah, Mario Paint. Mario Paint 2. Was it called Mario Artist? Wasn't it called like not Mario Artist Studio, or like?
I remember magazines calling it Mario Artist. Who knows what it was called by the time it came out?
You should know. I'm asking you on the air.
I should know.
Okay?
But
you should know everything.
Look, I still have machinations of playing Civ 7 on my Switch 2 with a mouse on the table, okay? Instead of at the computer.
Folks, he has a new computer with a fucking 4060 in it, and he's going to play a Switch 2 version on his stupid Joy-Con with a mouse, just because it can be a mouse now. I just want you guys to know that.
Okay, well, you know what? I don't feel comfortable moving my computer to place. Switch 2? I would, especially with
it's
that kickstand.
It's a laptop. It is a laptop that is expressly what it is designed to do.
Okay, but I paid a lot for this laptop, and I got a lot of shit hooked up to this laptop, and... Wait, why am I reasoning this out with you? All right, guys, the day after we recorded the last time, we got some Pokémon Presents. And another Pokemon Presents presentation. That's what they keep calling these, because it's Pokemon Day in February, and that's when they do the first one of these every year.
Whenever you say presents, I feel like we should have should I play some music? You want to play it up a little bit? Give me now time for Pokemon Presents or something like that.
Now time for Pokemon Presents. So we'll skip the rigmarole where they update every the way they tell you what's going on in the games, especially since Kevin quit TCG Pocket on me to play real card games. I see how it is. It's fine.
You got ditched so fast too.
He spent real money on the pretend card game, but it's fine. It's fine. I could still talk to Vin about it on the Poké
Maybe that's
Pals
what ruined it for me.
Yeah, okay, fine. So whatever. The real announcements of this thing. Pokemon Champions. It's an app for Switch and mobile that's all battles all the time, releasing later this year. You know, it's probably going to be a spiritual successor to Stadium, Coliseum, Battle Revolution, those games where it's, battles, lots of battles, but it's also clearly providing a official solution to a problem that we've had for a while now since games have been moved to Switch, namely how all Pokemon haven't been officially moving forward in games. We could stick them all in home, like, for now, but they all aren't going to be in every game, and we can't just fight whoever with whoever all the time. Like, okay, here's one centralized app, and you can pit everybody against each other all you want. There's been bizarre online solutions to this, and me and the Poké Pals pretty much agree that those people showdown are all weirdos. They're all fucking weirdos over there. So this is the right idea. Trust us on this one. Yeah, I think it's the right idea, but Andre seemed to have a different opinion.
I just don't think this is an exciting, I don't know. Is it this sucks? I'm sorry. I'm sure this is cool to Pokemon fans, right? You get to fight, but who actually has cared about a Battle Revolution or Coliseum or whatever if you're not hella into Pokemon? Those games don't mean anything to you otherwise. So it's
the goddamn Pokemon Presents isn't trying to appeal to me.
Yeah, come on. Get me in there. Give me the fuck. I bought Pokken. I have that on a game card. Maybe that's the one I should have licked. But damn. Come on. Throw me a bone here. Again, I'm not being one of those people who are they're going to put Pokemon Blue and Yellow and Green and Silver and Gold and stuff on Nintendo Switch Online all at once. I can't stand those people. Those people exist to piss themselves off, right? But come on. This was the thing. Pokemon Champions. Boy, I can't wait.
Well, for one, that's explicitly for us. Two, we have a different theory on how that's going to happen, but another time. But moving along, we finally got to see real Pokemon Legends ZA footage, gameplay. Andre likes to call it Pokemon ZA.
Well, Kevin called it Pokemon ZA, so I followed suit.
It looks like it's going to be a sequel to X and Y and not a prequel, even though we're calling it Legends. Anyway, we're making Lumiose City for everybody. Andre might remember Lumiose from Smash Brothers, maybe.
Nope.
Yeah, probably. I figured, but I thought I'd try. We're making Lumiose City for everybody, but does everybody include Kevin? And does the Switch family of systems include a Switch 2 SKU to be announced in a month? Please, God, I hope so. Kevin, is this going to be for you?
I've been kind of dreading this conversation because I hate to be, and I really do hate to be this guy because I don't think this is a cool take. And I really liked Gen 2 as a kid, but I could not really get into this without a good dose of Gen 1 Pokemon. And I think that was kind of the problem with the TCG game too, right? They did the new expansion and it's all I don't know these fucking Pokemon. I know that's a shitty, lame take, but that's just how I feel. On top of that, I did not like how this trailer is everything is an urban setting. I really liked exploring in Arceus. I really liked that game, but I'm just not getting the same vibe from this at all. I was relatively optimistic to see this. I thought this was definitely a maybe play, but I probably can't see it happening.
Wow. He has just dropped all the not playing the card game anymore. He is just Jesus.
And you know what? That's okay. Probably early next year, based on the timing, me and the Poké Pals will come and give you our Pokemon Legends ZA takes. Because we're always here for the mainline Pokémons. And, Legends Arceus was an early show favorite of ours. But, it would be nice if this one fucking time, even though they never do this, if we had a Switch 2 version of the game, because I'm remembering even Black and White and Black and White 2, how nice it would have been to have 3DS versions, and they didn't do that. It would be nice if this time they all got their fucking shit together and did that. I'm not betting on it.
They're not going to do that.
It would be nice if they did. But
did they like talk about that at all, or give any indication that it's not planned or anything?
Well, they're not. Well, they're keeping all of that stuff kind of to themselves for now. But you know. But Kevin, you bring up city and not city landscapes. I think when they inevitably get to Pokemon Legends Unova, which is the 5th set of games, which we somehow skipped, and I'm confident we're going to do sometime in Switch 2 times. They're going to need to do both things. We're going to do urban sprawl and running out in the wilderness, because there's just too much of that to ignore. And when they do that, I'm going to expect you back here with a slightly more positive attitude.
Did you think the urban setting looked cool? Did you find that like engaging?
Yes. I mean, you've never played it. You've never played a game that was just in one city. You never played Arkham City, Kevin?
I mean, for this game, it just seems like I don't know. Would you have liked playing Avowed if it was all in one fucking city? Like, I don't know.
You play Grand Theft Auto games, and those are all in one fucking city.
Well, generally, no, that's not even true.
They're included in what could generally be called one fucking city.
One fucking city. Okay, I know Apple won't let us call this show One Fucking City, but I really would like to. I really want to. I'll have to think of something else, but
yeah, I can't get behind this take, Kevin. The thing being in one city that we actually get to see this time, unlike the lip service we got in XY, is actually intriguing to me. But it's fine. You don't have to be included in this outing. It's fine.
Okay.
I think he just went completely nuclear in Pokemon. Like maybe he should play Pokemon Real or Fake now. I think he would get bamboozled.
He knows too many of them now. I can't be doing that.
All right. So after 20 years of being dead, Acclaim is back. Hooray. Right? Yay. Well, they're back kind of, because the name was picked up by Jeff Jarrett, the guy who made Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion. I'm sure everyone's heard of that indie game. He's the head of that studio who made that, Graffiti Studios. So he picked up the Acclaim name with the initial goal of, quote, to support developers and reignite classic franchises, end quote. I mean, guys, what classic franchises does Acclaim actually have? They did a bunch of licensed games. I mean, like that's a thing. Are they really going to get back here and be like, oh yeah, we're going to make American Gladiators again? Actually, that was LJN, wasn't it? Never mind. Yeah, the only thing we can think of is Turok, right? But that is now just Night Dive doing ports. I mean, I'm sure Night Dive doesn't own the IP, or do they? But like even just stuff like Iggy's Wrecking Balls or Extreme G, like the stuff that's on Nintendo 64, Nintendo Switch Online, those are published by other people now who just picked up the IP. So it's like, what are they doing here? Why are we reviving Acclaim, Steve?
Okay, because we do shows about the Nintendo Switch Online app games catalogs. I'm inclined to give all these catalogs a good looking through. And I looked through Acclaims, and besides the N64 examples you mentioned, Acclaim was other than crap, was usually in the business of publishing other things on a temporary basis back in the day. And I got some bad news for everybody. This Acclaim isn't going to have access to Mortal Kombat and NBA Jam on Super Nintendo. So while I appreciate that the smaller guys need a source of funding, I mean, that's what Humble Games does, or did for a time, but maybe Acclaim isn't the banner to rally behind for that.
I don't understand, Kevin. I mean, were you an Acclaim head growing up? Did you have the Acclaim
when you talked about licensed games, I've always firmly had Acclaim in my mind associated with Super Nintendo games. that you would rent from the local game store, right? The Simpsons, the Addams Family. That's like exactly what I think of when I think about Acclaim. But I do not think about Acclaim in 2025 either. So, but when I try and think of something, I think about the category of games that wouldn't have been good enough to buy.
As a Simpsons fan, I still blame Acclaim for standing in the way of preventing real home ports for the Simpsons arcade game and not just bullshit ones for MS-DOS and computers.
Do you really would you have really wanted a Simpson arcade port for Super Nintendo? That would have been god awful.
All it had to do is, okay, Turtles in Time on Super Nintendo was good. All you had to do is...
Konami did that, though, themselves. Like, if Acclaim picked it up...
Oh, if it was by Acclaim, no, that would be terrible. But that's what I'm saying. They stood in the way of that. If Konami made the Simpsons arcade game, that's why it wasn't on these systems.
Man, it's just... I don't get it. Like, it's like you guys said, this has never been a brand that's been synonymous with quality. It's like whenever you saw that logo, or at least I did, you just like took a deep breath and it's like, all right, here we go, motherfuckers. Like, what are we going to play now? Right? Like, what is this going to be like?
I do kind of like Turok, I guess.
Right. But like, that was the Iguana Entertainment logo to me. Not even the Acclaim was kind of an innocent bystander. But yeah, we remember Acclaim, but we do not remember Acclaim fondly. Like, there's a big difference. So I just don't get the point of this, but what do I know? It's not like someone out there is buying like Psygnosis or Sony ImageSoft or something, right? Like a logo that used to instill you with confidence. The Acclaim did not.
No one could afford that fucking owl. Come on, that's.
I know it's iconic. I know
that owl is priceless. It is a historical artifact.
I bet it's just Sony's, right? It's sitting in some Sony vault, some digital vault they just don't use ever. Yeah. I wish we could have that our Shadow of the Beast episode could have been 45 minutes if we just talked about the Psygnosis owl the whole time. I really wish we would have.
Yeah, Foresight and all that.
All right, Steve. Steve has been teasing a hidden topic to us that we don't know about, and I want him to hit us with it right now. I want to know what this is, finally.
Okay. Well, we all established how excited we are for Switch 2 things, or not excited, or whatever. And I maintain that excitement. But what I'm not excited about right now is actually going to buy one. Now, here's the problem. It's a very personal problem right now because I haven't had independent game stores out here in forever. And a good chunk of the GameStops here in the past month have shut down. The nearest one is a 30-minute drive away. So after Switch 2 Direct comes up in a few weeks, I don't know how I'm going to buy this thing. I need you guys to tell me it's going to be okay to order this thing online or something, because I am freaking the fuck out just a little bit in that regard.
Why wouldn't it be okay to order it online? What's the big deal?
I don't know. To me, okay, I have improved slightly in buying digital things. For lack of a better term, live service things like Splatoon or Monster Hunter or even Pokemon. Mainline Pokemon, where it's like, okay, I'm going to play these more often. I will buy these digitally. I don't need a game card for those. Like, I'm getting better at that. But it's like, I don't know. Buying a video game system feels like something I need to go and do, and I don't feel like I feel like I'm not ready to trust the post office with that yet. I need you people to talk me down from this ledge.
No, I hear you, because I think. I mean, when you're talking about buying it digitally, probably goes to Amazon as the first choice, and Amazon like is very good here with next day delivery. But I have had video games that I have ordered on Amazon not show up on release date, and I will be so fucking pissed if the Switch 2 comes out on a Friday and I don't get mine till Monday. I will be bitching and crying all fucking weekend.
Me too. Thankfully, that hasn't happened to me. I'm trying to think of the times I ordered PS4 and PS5 from Amazon, actually. So I've been through this twice with that, and they got here on release day. No problems. I feel like I've done something else too. I didn't do Switch. Actually, I did sort of, because I initially got mine from Amazon, and then a couple hours later, I waited in the line at GameStop and I pre-ordered one there as well. And then I gave that Amazon one to my friend. I just changed the address and I sent it to him. And so that worked out. So I think what we need to do, though, as a show, we need to band together here. We need to get as many pre-orders as we can, because inevitably, I'm assuming all three of us will not be able to get one, because that's just how it's going to go. So if one of us gets two of them, you pass one off or whatever, I think is what we have to do. So what I'm trying to say is, Steve, it'll be fine. We're all gonna try our best. We're all gonna try to cover each other's asses here, and we will get the Switch 2. I have confidence in us.
But they have said over and over for the last couple years that we do not, or maybe not couple years, but it's been a thing, right? Where they've said stock is not going to be an issue. We're going to make sure there is plenty of stock for the next system when it comes out, right? They've been talking about that long before they I think before they even made the announcement that we'll talk about the successor before the end of the fiscal year, right? They were talking about stock at that point.
Yes. And you know what, though? I kind of believe them. Only because they started making LCD screens for Switch 2 like 2 years ago. So that shit has been in wild high production for a long time, Steve. So come on, have confidence here. I get it. I understand you want to go to a store. I'm lucky enough to live in a town with 2 GameStops. I feel like I'll go there if I need to, but honestly, I think we'll be fine online this time.
Okay.
Yeah, this is causing a whole nother moral issue for me, because we literally are boycotting buying anything from American companies. So now I've got to consider also, and we have to get 2 of them. My kid has over $550 saved up specifically for a Switch 2.
Yeah, we will try our best. I know a lot of people. We like to.
I don't think I want
things.
your guys' dirty ass fucking American Switches. I want a nice, clean Canadian one.
All right, dickhead. You know what? Okay, now I'm going to rat your ass out. Okay, I'm going to tell you. Okay, when we on our previous creative endeavor, I actually did. I got one from Walmart, and I had the PS5. I had a pre-order from Walmart and a pre-order from Amazon. I took the Amazon one. I didn't know what to do with the Walmart one. I offered it up to fucking everybody, including this guy who just slandered me. He's like, I don't know if I really want a PS5. Oh, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna let the pre-order go because no one's taking it. Last chance, whatever. 3 months later, this dude wants a PS5. Not even 3 months later, and I'm like, bro, you could have I had one in hand to send you. All I had to do was change the address. Okay, now everyone knows your private chain.
About this.
Yeah, well, I didn't. Okay,
it didn't take me very long to find one when I decided that it was time, though.
Mm-hmm.
But you are correct. that was before your guys' fucking dickhead country started trying to ruin our economy. So
we didn't. Steve, what are we gonna do? How many times can we tell them we didn't vote for this?
Paint you all with the same brush.
Okay, you could paint us all from the same brush, but do I really have to bring up that America doesn't manufacture the Switch 2?
He doesn't care.
I know, but I don't want to buy it from Walmart. I don't want to buy it from Best Buy. I don't want to buy it from fucking Amazon.
I'm trying to... the Amico, if it existed, would be an American system, but...
Oh, no, that's a Canadian system. It doesn't matter. That could be manufactured in Zimbabwe. That is a very Canadian system through and through.
All right. I know you guys love my shitty takes, and I got a real shit one for you today.
Oh, boy. Rubbing my hands together.
I got a hot food take. And I want to talk to you guys about ketchup. Let me preface this. I am not the fucking weirdo that puts ketchup on everything. I do not put ketchup on steak. I am very restrictive with my ketchup use. For the most part, it's like burgers, hot dogs. I will not eat craft dinner if it has even touched ketchup. I don't like it.
People do that? Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a thing here. People fucking smother their craft dinner in ketchup, and it makes me
Ugh.
gag. It's disgusting.
No, thank you. Ugh.
The nastier part of food Twitter likes to share that, and I'm like,
No thanks.
But, and everybody because this is something that I eat in public, and everybody who's ever heard about it gives me shit for it. I'm telling you, it's fucking good. You know what ketchup is so good on? A pizza sub. A pizza submarine sandwich with ketchup on it is the shit.
Okay. I think this is still disgusting, right? In my head. However, that's not nearly as bad as I thought you might say. I thought you were going to say, I don't know what I thought you were going to say, to be quite honest. I thought you were going to say, like, you know, shrimp fried rice or something like that and put ketchup on it or something. But like, nah, I'm not okay. So, like, Steve, how do you feel about ketchup? I don't really like ketchup. I almost never use it. If it's on a burger, like if I go to McDonald's, I'm not going to say no ketchup. I'll eat the ketchup, but I'm never going to add ketchup to anything. It's basically my feeling on it.
ketchup is a sometimes condiment.
Okay. What do you use it on?
We'll put it on the side of fries, the occasional burger. We're definitely not putting it on hot dogs in New York, and we're really not putting it anywhere near a pizza.
Look at this.
What? Ketchup on pizza?
Yeah, I've seen people do that. That is just disgusting.
That's fucked.
The
I don't know.
flavor-
Pizza sub sounds pizza adjacent, Kevin, and that's why I'm kind of sitting here going.
Okay. Yeah, I would never even. I had never in my life considered the concept of pairing ketchup with real pizza.
Look. We put things on things. I understand we all have our things where we put some condiment on something where it's like, but honestly, a pizza sub, Kevin, it sounds like something in Earthbound where it's like they put, he put ketchup on the rice. It was really bad. And then you get like less HP or
5
something.
HP was recovered.
Yeah.
Next time you guys have a pizza sub, would you try a bite with ketchup and then report back and just tell me?
I don't think I could bring myself to try it.
I think you're missing out.
I would be exiled from the state for even considering it.
I would have to
do
be
it in
eating
secret.
it out.
Take your sub to the bathroom and do it in there.
I have standards, Kevin. I would be eating it in the outhouse next to the bathroom. Come on.
One, I was going to say I don't have ketchup at home, so I would have to do this while eating the pizza sub out. Number two, I'm not taking the pizza sub in the bathroom at the place where I'm getting it and taking my whole food into the bathroom.
Hoity-toity, we don't eat fucking our subs in the bathroom. Oh, okay.
I'll take my drink. I'll take my drink to the urinal or something if I'm leaving or something. I'll take my soda cup if I'm eating somewhere. Okay, I'm sipping on it. Whatever.
I'm not saying to
deal.
take the
Not
sub to the
food.
bathroom because that's a nice place to eat. I'm just saying so you can try the ketchup bite without shame.
I would rather shame myself and like if I'm going, I'm already feeling the shame by putting this on the pizza sub. I think I will just eat it that way. But in public, I think people will just have to see it. I'll put a little squirt of ketchup just on the side. No one's really seeing what I'm,
You will?
I mean, no, I'm just saying if that's what I was going to do, that's how I would sneak it. I mean, at that point, what's the difference between it's not people might just think it's marinara from that distance, right?
I'm just telling you guys, if you fucking tried it, it would introduce something good in your lives. But if you don't want to expand your minds, then don't.
Okay. Here's my food take, and this is more just admonishing the public because that's what I like to do. Here's my thing. Shut up about your crispy food. I don't care how crispy something is. I don't care about your crispy. Oh, my fries have got to be extra crispy, or I am only going to eat this chicken if it's so crispy. Fuck off. Grow up. Eat your fucking food and shut up. Okay, I don't care. You know how people are like, oh, I don't like my fries in the McDonald's bag because then they'll get soggy when I get home. Get over yourself. Who do you think you are? Yeah, they're hot fries in a bag. What do you think is going to happen? They're going to stay crispy? No, and it doesn't matter. I get texture matters to food, but your shit doesn't have to be super duper crispy all the time for you to eat it. Who cares? Grow the fuck up, man. I don't care how crunchy your fries are. That's my bad food take.
I think that's a bad take. I think that's a bad take.
Okay.
While I like crispy food, I think This is one of those situations where I'm glad I don't see these people on the internet, because I'd be just sitting there going, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
But I mean,
Go
in
ahead.
the fry example, you're telling me that you are going to enjoy your McDonald's fries equally from the time when you are served them to 40 minutes later after they have been sitting in the bag getting soggy, because I get that. I don't really want to eat those soggy ass fries. I
It's
don't need
not
to
about-
grow up.
At that, yeah, well, yes, you need to grow up. Okay, don't put ketchup on your pizza sub, for one. But like number two, yeah, I don't like. It's fine. It's at that point, it's not about crispy. It's about cold. I don't want to eat cold fries. But if they're soggy and they're still warm, it's fucking fine. They taste exactly as good. Fried chicken is as good, crispy or not crispy. There is no difference. It's fried chicken. Why would anyone ever complain about that? Get over yourself.
Okay, this isn't my hot take, but if the chicken was good when it was hot, I don't mind a room temp fried chicken. This isn't my take, by the way. I'm like, I don't mind if I got it from the grocery store or from Popeyes and I still have a piece there. I'll just grab it and eat it. It's good.
Me too. And we would take that shit. That's like beach. When we go to the beach or something and grabbing something on the way to get, we would often go get a KFC bucket and just eat it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
the chicken, but fries to me are you got to eat this shit now, because like you just said, the longer you wait in there, it's diminishing returns anyway on them fries.
of course, I don't want them cold. But if they've been in if they've been in a bag for 10 minutes, they sogged out a bit. Oh, fucking well, they're great.
Yeah.
Half an hour later, you throw them in the microwave. That's as good.
No, I
would never.
I don't think reheating fries. The best you can do sometimes is like put them in the oven, depending on the fry. So they have to be kind of like thick cut fries. You can't do like shoestring fries. I don't even like shoestring fries to begin with, but like those are just not reheatable. Maybe a thicker cut fry, like a crinkle cut or a steak fry, my favorite fry. Yeah, sure. Throw them in the oven. Maybe they can kind of resuscitate them somewhat. But again, that's about temperature, not necessarily about, it gotta be crispy or else I ain't eating it. Shut up. I don't care. All right, there. That's my bad food take.
Man, my take feels almost tame by consideration, but fuck it. We're hitting cookout season soon. Cookouts and barbecues, and these people make me feel ashamed for it. I'm not going to feel shame for it anymore. Coleslaw is a quality side.
No.
It's good. It settles. It's good. It's got some vegetables that we're covering, and other things that don't make it taste like vegetables, and it settles your stomach so you can eat more shit. Coleslaw is good. I'm sick of pretending it's not.
Is this like a New York Pride kind of thing, or?
I'm assuming that's what it is at this point, because it's not just you two. I feel like as soon as I leave the Northeast, everyone starts hating coleslaw. Is everyone's cabbage just nasty the second we leave New York?
I love cabbage. Man, here's my bias, and I'm sure both of you know this. I hate mayo. Therefore, I really don't like mayo-based, whether it's coleslaw or potato salad, whatever. It's like, it's got to be very, very perfect for me to eat it. And with that said, Steve, one time in San Francisco while I was visiting Vin, I did have a coleslaw that I liked. We had it at the pier. It was really good. It had some seafood. It wasn't your typical coleslaw. It had something in it. I couldn't tell you what it was. It's been so long, but it was good. So I guess there is coleslaws that I can eat. 99% of them, probably not. But yeah, so for the most part, if someone offers me coleslaw, I'm like, nah, thanks.
I think
KFC hasn't had good coleslaw in years. So if that was your baseline,
no.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I hadn't really thought about the mayonnaise component. I'm not as much of a mayonnaise hater as you, but I'm pretty selective about mayonnaise, and just taking a shredded vegetable and covering it in mayonnaise is definitely unappealing.
Yeah, on the surface. I mean, we know it's not just mayonnaise, but still, it's just that's kind of the
very
main...
mayonnaise-y.
Yeah,
I like potato salad, and there is mayonnaise in potato salad, but there's a very strong difference between it's less mayonnaise-y.
Yeah. Let me tell you, my mom spoiled me. So whenever people were coming over, she was making her potato salad. She would make all the components before she put the mayonnaise and everything on. She would scoop me out some. So it was just like all the stuff, potatoes, whatever you put in potato salad that I could eat. and then she'd dress up the rest of it for everybody. So I'd eat my little potato salad without mayo. That's how. That's how
Your
weird
mom
I
always
was
sounds so
about it.
sweet when you bring her up.
I know, right? She made me my own little scooped out potato salad when she was making it, right? So
How do you feel about German potato salad?
oh, is that the olive oil kind or
Olive oil and mustard usually.
yeah, that's fine. That's fine. It's not like my super duper favorite or anything, but yeah, I'll eat that.
Maybe they should serve the coleslaw less crispy.
Yeah, I don't want that crunchy ass cabbage. Well, the mayo will make sure that's not the case. I'll tell you that much.
I don't think I've ever had soggy coleslaw.
Well, I was going to say, like, how much of a coleslaw freak are you? Like, will you eat KFC coleslaw or nah? Or just
Not
like
anymore. Popeyes has an okay coleslaw, but that's dropped off too since COVID. I'm going to give you a hot take within the hot take because I've seen this in a few southern states. Don't put fucking raisins in it.
Oh, that's terrible. Yeah. Any mayo-based salad with raisins can get fucked. I've seen people do that with potato salad as well. No, thank you.
No, don't be doing that.
No, thanks. I don't like raisins in general. And that's a whole take within a take within a take about oatmeal raisin cookies, but I won't go there.
I like raisins separate from themselves, but I don't like it in things.
Me too. I don't want that. That's what I should have clarified. Yeah, I like them by themselves. I don't want raisins in stuff. But like little boxes, the little sun-made raisins, yeah, I'll snack on.
Not even like some like squares with raisins sometimes.
Nah.
What about tarts? Tarts with raisins is pretty good.
I'm trying to think.
I don't know.
There was this meme that floated around for a time, and It's Sugar sold around a lot. Oatmeal raisin cookies gave me trust issues.
Yeah, that's me.
That's basically it. Because
me.
We're all we've all had that moment where we're kids. We saw the plate of oatmeal raisin cookies, thought it was chocolate chip, and we're like, no. And after that.
Well, see, that's my problem. The reason why I have trust issues is because they don't call them oatmeal raisin anymore. They're just oatmeal cookies. The raisin is now implied because before you could buy oatmeal cookies, which didn't have raisins, and then oatmeal raisin cookies. Now everything's just oatmeal cookies, and you can't find any without raisins.
When I was younger, there were bakeries that would give you oatmeal chip with nuts in them, and they were so fucking good.
Oh, that sounds incredible.
They were, but they don't exist anymore because of what you just said. It's just implied that the raisins are there.
That's enough food talk, so here's what we're going to do to end the show. On the other side of this break, me and Kevin are going to have Avowed spoiler hours. We're going to talk. We played the entire game, both of us, and we're going to talk about all the choices we made and, all the stuff up to and including the ending. So if you do not want to be spoiled on Avowed, this is the end of the show for you. We'll catch you next time on Fine Time. Just tune out right now. Okay? But if you're going to continue with us and hear our Avowed spoiler hours discussion, it will happen on the other side of this music. We'll be right back.
You're in line for one more Fine Time.
All right, we are now in spoiler territory for Avowed. Kevin, how do you feel? We have reached the end. We have reached the god. We have reached the garden.
I was pretty sad it was done. I felt like I had a wholesome experience, but I could have went for and I didn't rush through it, but I didn't try and, the closer I got to the end, the more I was like, I got to try and soak out some more side quests and nail out some more shit because I don't want it to be done. But I could have went for another 10 hours of good meaty content in there. I don't think it was too short, but I could have done with longer.
Really? See, I felt like it was a perfect length. It's not that I was getting tired of it, but by the end I was kind of like, okay, I hope this is it. And it was, it was the perfect length for me.
Yeah, it's very, very rarely that I ever say I wish something would have been longer. I'm almost always wishing things would have been a little bit shorter.
Yeah, that is surprising to hear you say that. Okay, I've been dying to know this the whole time. So this happens in the first map, the Dawn Treader quest, the one where you're investigating some people who have disappeared into some cave, and then you find out it's about something entirely fucking different because this weirdo with a robe, and was he even human? I don't know what was going on with that guy. He killed those people to put their souls into this machine. And so he wants to give this machine sentience, and he killed these people to do it. So let's start there. Did you kill that weirdo wizard guy? Because I definitely did.
I did kill him. I don't think you're accentuating how weird he is enough. He had like pervert energy.
Oh yeah. He right? did something to those bodies before he extracted those souls. I mean,
yeah, that guy gave me the creeps.
Yeah, he did something. He did something. So also, here's what's also crazy about this. So after you take care of the wizard guy, the god in your head, whose name is Sopadal, you don't really know that yet, but now we know their name is Sopadal. They want to take over that robot so they can have a body. And I was like, fuck no, I don't trust you. So I destroyed the robot. I was like, I'm not having any of this. None of this needs to happen. What did you do?
I let Sopadal take the robot. And I think this is what we talked when we first talked about this. I said I was like, at this point, I really thought, I'm like, okay, this voice in my head is up to no good. It's super shifty. I don't like it. But I thought the interesting thing to do was just like appease it at every turn. And this is kind of where that started. I was like, yeah, you want a body? Fucking here you go.
So what happened? What went on when they
she takes the body, it like shows it animating, and there's like multiple things, and maybe you didn't get any of these, but based on some choices you are given like magic powers, and I think that one is the like life gain one where you can like replenish you and your like your helper character's life to a certain degree. And so she like gives you that power. So did you get any of those powers?
I got that power, but not through there. I got it from a completely different way. Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
I did get that.
How did you get it? Because I'm pretty sure that's how I got that one, but I might be fucked up on that.
I got it from another quest. I got it from because you know how sometimes there's a quest where you can kind of get quote unquote close to Sopadal and you kind of have this long conversation with them and they tell you their history of like being, I don't know, through the centuries or whatever. It's like you find out like they're responsible for killing these people because, this or that was coming, the whole bit. I don't have to tell you the whole story, but I got it through one of those. I didn't get it from that.
Oh, okay. I'm pretty sure that's where I got it from. It's super interesting. You just called Sopadal a him. I always thought Sopadal was a her.
I don't know. They refer to themselves as we, but I think the characters in the game refer to it as they or them pronouns, I think, but I don't know. I mean, I don't think it really has a gender, but
right. Yeah. It's just interesting that like you made that association and I made it totally different.
Right. I usually say they, but whatever. I don't know what is a god's gender anyway at that rate, right? Like, fuck, who knows, right? But I thought that was, but Sopada always says we, referring to themselves, which is also another, right. Yeah. So I don't know, but I guess you could, I don't know, but I think that's intentional, right? You can hear masculine and feminine tones in Sopadal's voice, obviously, which is interesting, Yeah. But anyway, so I destroyed the robot because I didn't trust them, but as the game went on and you start to get a better grasp of the situation, you start to sympathize with Sopadal a bit more. At least I did. And I wasn't really expecting that. Did that happen to you too? Or the whole time you were just kind of like, well, fuck this weirdo, but I'm just gonna do.
I mean, I don't think ever like completely. I think the more the story went on, like you could tell that Sopadol's intentions were like not purposefully malicious. I think. And I kind of didn't. I wanted Sopadol to be like the end boss. I wanted Sopadol to be, like this fucking horrible, terrible thing that's infiltrated your mind, where I've just like ruthlessly supported them throughout the entire story. That doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm. But can you not, if you choose to kill Sopadol at the end, can you do that? Can you like, see, I wonder if you can fight them. I wonder if you fight them instead of Lodwyn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I guess maybe I should back up. Did you choose to save Sopadol, or did you choose to be like, no, fuck you?
Of course, I chose to save Sopadol. I was pro Sopadol the entire playthrough for consistency.
Okay, so we chose the same thing. I wonder if, because you can choose not to. So I wonder if you actually, quote unquote, fight Sopadol, or if you just sort of sever some sort of like, some Adra, and then that's it.
Now, do you think the moral choice was to save Sopadol, or was it supposed to? Was it like as black and white, where it was like supposed to be the moral choice?
Yeah, because I think it's a realization I had as the game was wrapping up. Like, because you have that conversation with Nandru and Solace Keep, where what is their kind called, the little people,
the dwarves.
The dwarves, whatever. Yeah, I don't know what they're called in the game.
I think they call dwarves in the game.
Are they dwarves? Okay. You have that conversation with them down there where it's like Sopadol's evil because they did this and that. You have that conversation with Wodaka in the garden, right? And then you have the realization that Giada's parents were essentially killed by one of Sopadol's sort of freak accidents, sort of, right? That's the reason they returned the trees. So all this stuff was stacking up, and I realized the entire game was essentially about faith. It's testing your faith against Sopadol. Like basically against like God, like it's almost like in real life, like if you were to go to church and you believed in God or something like that, do you believe in God or not? I think is kind of like the main crux of the game, where everything is placed against them. You see them destroy civilizations, and everyone most of the people you talk to want you to kill them, right? If you have the chance, and you have to be the sole voice of reason to say, no, I'm going to save them against basically everyone's wishes. And which is what I did. And I think that's great. That's like a great way to play the story, I think, because like it's so easy to get caught up, and it's like, no, you see the things they've done in the past. No, fuck, hell no, right? You can't be allowed to exist, right? And I wouldn't blame any player for taking it that way. So it's interesting that we did the same thing in that regard. Although you did this, like you said, you did decide from the beginning that you were going to do that, but.
This is probably the time for me to be transparent when you're talking about the conversation with Wodaka. I definitely, probably by the time I was in Act 4, I was still reading the dialogue as I went through. I very, very much was like very quickly running through everything, making a snap decision. What is what Sopadol wants, and very unengaged from the story at this point. So I think I probably took less. I definitely took much less away from the story than you did. Now, I also don't think that like decreased my enjoyment of the game at all. I just wasn't really there for the story at that point. You made reference to the conversation with the glowing stone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't remember the name. When you brought that up before, I had to Google who that was because I didn't even remember the name. So I was fairly disengaged from the story at that point.
You had made up so what you're saying is you had basically made up your mind. I'm going to save Sopadol. I don't care what these motherfuckers say. This is my mission, and I'm just going to do that. Was that basically it? And you just didn't care about anything else?
It was that, and I think I just I wasn't that engaged in the storytelling of the game. I loved the game. I loved the exploration. I loved the questing. I loved the equipment and the upgrading. I just didn't really care about the story that much. To the point, and this is a little bit embarrassing to admit, but this is what happened. When you get to the very end, right before the final battle, you kind of like convene with all of the leaders that you had met with throughout the story, and then you're making a decision about how to proceed forward. Now, at a certain point, I was just like, I said, okay, yeah, we're going to choose this option. And everybody was like, whoa, what the fuck? Why are we doing that? Are you sure? That's horrible. And I was like, oh, I didn't realize that's not what you wanted me to pick. So I moved to the next selection and made that one. And they're like, oh, okay, cool now.
What selections were they? What did you pick?
I don't even remember like the entire context of what was going on in those discussions at that point. So
what are we even talking about?
Like,
what are we?
You know what? I felt the same way. So you asked about at the end of map 3, you have to decide if you want to destroy those ruins, or I knew. Lodwin was like saying, yeah, destroy them. And everybody else was saying, no, don't destroy them. I made that decision based on an entirely different reason. When I was down there, I didn't realize that near the end of that, you're at a certain point where it just wants you to leave and the enemies will respawn endlessly. So I spent like 20 minutes fucking fighting those enemies. And until I realized, I'm like, oh, okay, like I cannot beat these. I need to, and I remembered hearing them be like, we need to get out of here. But I was like, okay, well, let's kill the enemies and we'll get out.
No, how about just leave?
So by the time I got out, they're like, do you want to destroy the ruins? And I was like, I'm not fucking fighting any more of those things. Let's destroy them. And that was the reasoning for destroying the ruins. Not in support of Ludwin at all.
Well, I did the opposite thing, which I mean, some people might argue with as well, which is sever the Adra, and it will cut off the life force of some people on the land, but the Dream Thralls will go away forever. Which Kai had a really, really big shit fit with me about. He was really pissed that I did this. I get it. It's where he's from, but like, bro, we can't just like... It's not even about like, cause like, you know, the wizard lady was trying to make it about, no, you're destroying history or whatever. And like, I don't fucking care about that. I just want to do the thing that will stop the problem. And that will stop the problem. I don't know what else I'm supposed to do here. And you know, of course, that's what all Obsidian games are really good at. They're making you pick something between really shitty choices. You know, both those choices are terrible, but you have to pick something. And so I picked, I'd rather stop the problem than what can I say? Right. And that's those kind of choices. Again, like their other games, especially Outer Worlds, you get to do those things. And I think Avowed is even better at that. So I did want to just, while we're on story choices, one I did find really interesting, the dwarf that wanted to destroy the keep when you get to the bottom of it. What did you do there? Because I killed that guy. I also killed that guy because you can't see, because it almost feels, in a way, it almost feels like the previous choice, like destroy, but like he was going off of like nothing. He was just saying, we're going to destroy this keep and this is going to work. And I'm like, we don't actually know
just
that.
Based on distrust of the female leader.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Whereas like the Adra, severing the Adra thing was like, this will work. This will 100% stop the problem. You know, that was like, what are you talking about, bro? Like we can't just do this based off of your vibes. You know, so yeah, I killed him.
Could you have got through that section with not have killing him, but still not allowing him to destroy the keep? Do you think? I don't know that.
I don't know because he didn't have a whole lot of speech checks. Well, because here's the thing at the end of the game when you're talking to Lodwin, if you have really high speech checks, you can like talk her out of that shit. But I just didn't have it.
Oh,
so I fought her. Well, because like if you notice, there's like hella things that are like if you have 15 Constitution, you can say this, or like if you have 16 Might, and it's like I don't fucking have that.
But do you think that just ends the game where it's just like
it probably does? Because okay, spoiler within a spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't played New Vegas. Sorry, it's been 15 years. You can speech check Caesar out of ever fighting him. If your speech is 100, if your whatever's 100, you can talk his ass down, and then you win the game, and you get all the experience points for fighting him. You level up and everything, and the game's over. So you can do that in New Vegas.
Anticlimactic,
right? But like hardly anyone would be able to do that. You know, like you
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
have your stats in such a way. And whereas like, and I'm sure you could do that to Lodun as well, where you could just kind of talk her down and that's it. But again, that goes back to faith, right? She had faith in Wodaka and you're using that against her. Right. So like, yeah, I just think like I just never saw that the central theme of the game would be faith. You know, that's just very unusual in a video game, I think. So overall, though, I would give this game a B plus. I wanted to give it like an A minus, but I think like, I don't know. I think I really enjoyed it, but it's just kind of exactly what you think it is, which is not at all bad. And it's probably one of the better ones to ever do it. At the same time, it is quite derivative from games that came before it. Again, not in a bad way, which is why it's a B plus. But I can't give it like some sort of tip top grade. I really, really, really enjoyed my time with Avowed, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I get where it is a derivative for sure. I just had like the entire. I played the game. I think I landed about 43 hours, and the whole time I was like cognizant of the fact that I am having so much fun playing this. I was like actively felt that enjoyment, and like, ooh, I thought about even bringing this up, and we'll finish this conversation at a later date. I started playing the rest of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth after. Great game. There's so many like excellent things about that game, but I don't have that same feeling. And I think it's hard for me like not to directly contrast these when playing them back to back, because there are points of that game that feel like it's like work to play. You have to like put into it to get out of it. And I never felt that way about Avowed. It's like just 100% like getting out of it. It's not like because it's super easy or it holds your hand. It's just like it seemed so all killer, no filler to me.
Okay. I mean, obviously I definitely don't agree, but I understand what you mean. I do get that. I definitely never felt like Rebirth was ever work, though. That's for sure. I gotta ask you though, the fact that like whenever Lodwyn took off her mask and she's basically Skeletor, it's like, yeah, dude, we saw your like fire eyes through your mask.
Eyes.
Like, well, yeah, like your eyes are literally flames. Like, I don't know now look, I wasn't expecting her to be a skeleton. At the same time, I definitely didn't expect her to look human. So I mean, yeah.
just like a normal ass human, just with flame eyes.
Yeah, I don't think so, right? Like, come on. Like,
so, okay, with that, what did you think about that final battle? Because I thought that was a little bit of a lame way to end the game. And I think I thought, okay, so when you're in the garden, you fight those like giant triangle head things. And I just thought those fights were more interesting, right? They do every so often they do the laser eye thing and then they fucking blow you back and you get staggered. I mean, with Lodwyn, it just seemed like there was like 4 stages of it. Like you kill her, and then she regenerates her health, and then she's a little bit more aggressive, and you kill her and she regens her health, and like that cycle happens. But there was nothing, I don't know, I felt it was a little vanilla for a final boss.
yes, however, I would extend that to say, like, I don't think any boss battle in this game is particularly great. It's just like, I don't think like open world combat games like this have great boss battles. I just think that's kind of what they are. It's always a weakness of the genre, and Avowed is no different. I'm trying to think of any boss battle that's actually been super cool in a game like this, and I don't think I have an example.
I don't think they needed to make it like, I think it would be really hard to make it like mechanically unique, but I also think just like flavor wise, they could have made it like much more of a spectacle than just like you're in the town square, like fighting her over and over and over.
Sure. I mean, I just don't know what else you can do, because the game has to come down to either that you fight Lodwyn or you fight Sopadal. Well, maybe that's it, right? Maybe if you fight Sopadal, if you fight them, that gives you like a big giant boss battle? Because I was very surprised when I saw their appearance, like with the big head and the weird like disconnected, like, I mean, I guess it's just a form of something. It's not necessarily they have to look like something, but like that was very surprising. You know,
See, okay, it's interesting. And maybe I'm fucked up. I'm sure that the point when she like gets the head and everything was when you let her take over the robot.
No, because I saw that shit too. So
Because I'm sure that's like I thought that was the first time I seen it.
I saw that, but I didn't know the first time I saw that form, I think it was like near the end of the second map or something like that. I don't think I saw that form like right away. So are you telling me you saw that form when you let them do the robot thing?
I think I did. That's sure how I remembered it until you talked about seeing it. Now I'm questioning myself.
But like, yeah, I definitely didn't let them do that. So
I wanted to ask you about the garden because when we first talked about this, you said, I really want to see like you go to heaven at the end or something like really splashy, a unique place. The garden is definitely unique. Did you get what you wanted out of that?
Yes, I did. That was cool. That was very otherworldly and weird. It wasn't like, it wasn't absolutely insane. It wasn't a Shin Megami Tensei game or something like that. But I mean, it scratched my itch. I got what I wanted from that for sure. Good. However, what I did not get, I think the other thing I wanted to happen is that I wanted to see like cooler dungeons and I wanted to see like some more inventive stuff. I didn't really get that. The only thing that I got that I thought was really cool was that one tower where you have to disarm a bunch of traps going up, a bunch of arrow traps, and like, you know what I mean? That was cool as hell.
That wasn't even a main story thing, I don't think, though, because I'm pretty sure I just stumbled across it. That was in the desert map, right? And you'd like go just fall down the tower and if you like find the progressive notes as the guy laid the trap or whatever.
Yeah.
I did think the one that you destroy the ruins, right? You go down there and you're talking to the spirits and they're like, you have 3 challenges or whatever. I thought that one was pretty unique and interesting.
That was cool. Yeah. So like, that's what I'm trying to say. None of these are bad or like they were never boring or anything, but they never had like the level design ingenuity that I think that I wanted from that. Which is, again, that's fine. It doesn't have to be.
What do you think it was missing?
I think they weren't. I didn't feel like I was really traveling like deep into a place. I think that's always the fun part, whether it's like even like an old JRPG, like an 8 or 16-bit like Dragon Quest or something, where it's like you're descending down into this dungeon, you're like 4 floors deep. Oh, it's really dangerous. Can I even get back out? Do I even have an escape? Like that kind of thing. Where it's like I feel that when I played like an Elder Scrolls or a Fallout or something, you're exploring this big building or something like that. Or in Elder Scrolls, you're going through these large catacombs and these huge caves or whatever, and it's like, oh shit, I'm really deep in this shit. This is crazy. I never felt that way while playing Avowed. And I think that's kind of key to making you feel the dungeon. To me,
what about the snow one where you go and then all of a sudden it's like wintry and
that was cool.
You like lose the map and that one felt pretty like desolate.
That was cool. But it didn't, I don't know, it never gave me that feel. And again, it doesn't have to have that feel. It doesn't have to do exactly the thing that I want. But those are the kinds of dungeons I really enjoy, and just Avowed didn't have that. So that's okay. By the way, I looked it up. I spoiled it for us since we didn't know. You don't fight Soppadal. If you choose, you just kind of end them. You sever their Adra or whatever, just like you did at the end of the third map, and that's it. So it's not you have some big boss fight against them. But so obviously, if you do that, you don't fight Lodwyn.
Does it seem like, do you think that's meant to be like the bad ending? Because to me, that seems like it should be the bad ending.
It didn't seem like that. It does seem like, I mean, I'm sure like the end plays out differently where it's like, because you know how the end where it's like, the forces are coming from your country or whatever. So it's like, you can have Soppadal be like, hey, can you ward them off? Or can you make a storm? Or I don't know, something. They help out somehow. Right? Where it's like, maybe that stuff plays out a bit differently at the end, but other than that, yeah.
You go to the town and you and Lodwyn get married.
Yeah, you kiss those chattering teeth, those Skeletor
you play
teeth.
The God of War like button tapping mini game for sex.
Yes. Oh my God! Never mind. I'm not going to get into it. I can't even imagine. Never mind. Yeah, great game, Avowed. I would love to play another one of these. Hey, we might if Outer Worlds 2 comes out anytime this year.
I really fucking hope this has DLC.
Ooh, would it?
I don't know. I could see it. I mean, they like push back the release a very long ways, like not because it wasn't done, but it seemed like because they thought pushing it back was more of an opportune release timing. So I don't know. I wonder how much more work got done on it in the interim.
Yeah, I do wonder. But DLC, I don't know. We may not every game does. I don't know. Like the aforementioned Final Fantasy VII Rebirth definitely doesn't have DLC because they're making that third game like now, you know. Whereas like the first game, they had that Yuffie DLC, right? So and they're not doing that this time. So
did Outer Worlds have DLC? Do you know?
Yes, it did. It wasn't like huge. It wasn't like a Fallout 4 Far Harbor or anything like it's something gargantuan like that, but it definitely did have it. So I would love something just small, even just a couple of little side stories.
Yeah, if they added content within the existing maps, I would be pretty happy to go back to that.
For sure. Anything else? Anything else on Avowed before we get out of here?
The only other thing, I thought it was a weird decision that when you beat Lodwyn and it shows you what happened. It plays the giant fucking, story slides, which I did not pay that much attention to. And then you reload your save. If you saved at that point when the city is under attack, it's like there's no do you want to continue your game? And you just have to load an earlier save. And I thought that was a weird decision to make.
I don't think it's the kind of game where you can just kind of walk around and do whatever and bask. What you wanted to bask in the solace of your choice or whatever.
Not even necessarily, but if they could have just discounted that's what happened and been okay, do you want to go back to the world the way it was so you can keep doing the side missions? I mean, if you only maintained one save the entire fucking time, I think you would be fucked there. I don't, unless there's some menu option when you're outside of the city while it's under attack to be able to say, I want to go back to the world the way it was before. I don't know.
Well, I mean, do give you that warning before you go into the garden. There's no coming back from this. So
yeah,
they do say that much, but
usually though, that seems it's okay, you're going to be in this place for 3 hours and you're not going to have fast travel. That doesn't necessarily mean the game is you cannot go back and do any of the side shit ever.
I always take that to mean a permanent, just like what you said. There's no going back at all. But I don't really play game. If I really wanted to see that shit again, I would just play the game again on a not even necessarily New Game Plus or something. Because the way I played, I was I said, it was a straight up wizard. I would love to play. I would love to try. I didn't use a sword at all or whatever. I would like to try it. Right. So I don't know. It'd be fun.
Gotta do a gun run.
Full gun run. Yeah, I know. I was full wizard run, full sword run, full gun run. Okay, that was a great game. I'm glad we both enjoyed it a lot. We're not sitting here arguing about it or some shit. I love to argue on Fine Time, but this is one game where I'm glad to just bask in the glory. The Avowed was really good, really good stuff. Okay, that's it. See you next time on Fine Time. Check the description of this podcast to find our names on social media, and bye.
You've been listening to Fine